Joining us now, Major General Don Riley, retired U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Deputy Commanding General and Deputy Chief of Engineers. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thank you, Molly.
Looking at what's unfolding today, we have a hospital that's being evacuated because of a water pump issue there in that community. As we mentioned just now, dams and levees that are under pressure. Once this water recedes, highways, roads, bridges. I mean, how do you even begin tackling a devastation that is as wide as this when it comes to infrastructure?
Well, what all the government officials will do is first save public lives, and they've got to get out, and that's their #1 priority, there's no question. And then after they make sure the public is safe, they will begin to make their assessments of the houses, of the buildings, of the structures, the roads, the bridges, and then begin to assess what they need to do to reconstruct and get everybody safely back into their homes or to move to other areas and decide whether to build in those areas or not to build, and then begin very slowly and over time with a lot of help from the federal government, the state government, and local forces to rebuild and ensure that they're all moving around properly.
Yeah, you have this wealth of experience, stabilizing things in the Middle East and Afghanistan. The assets that are on the way there are 2 Navy ships, hundreds of Marines. The National Guard has been called into action. What do you do with all of those military assets in the wake of this kind of destruction?
Well, the military assets are generally for public safety to ensure the public is safe and to support the local police forces in securing anything they need secure. They are not direct security forces in civilian populations.
How do you protect people as all these folks that are coming in to help, from the volunteers to the various aid organizations, people that are stocking the shelters and trying to get food and clothing and cots to all of these shelters, when you know that the infrastructure may not be sound?
Well, the federal forces and the Corps in particular will make assessments of the infrastructure. They'll have the engineers do that to make sure they are sound. And then FEMA will lead an effort to bring in, of course, food and water, power, and repair roofs on houses or cover roofs, and remove debris under federal programs. The state and the local forces will do that as well. But they'll ensure that the population is protected, and then they'll get about moving people back into their homes.
Just in the next couple of days, as these waters finally recede, which could in some areas take even longer, what can people expect when they're getting there on the ground to help?
Well, I think it's going to take some time. They should be very, very patient, and they will. The people that they're flowing from in around the country to help, they'll see a lot of devastation, and it's very, very sad. These people are suffering terribly. Many of them have lost family members. Many of them have damaged homes, and many lost their homes completely. So they're there to help, and I'm very heartened to see that kind of help flowing in from around the country. I know our local church is supporting, and there'll be support from all over the country flowing in.
Absolutely. Major General Don Riley, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Molly.